Hey guys, welcome to the Sales Society. My name's David, and today we're going to be doing some video breakdown where we check out other people's knocking film, see what they're doing great, and what we could do a little better. Let's get in it. And today we're going to be checking out content from Real Sales Dynamic. If you guys haven't given it a follow, make sure you guys do so. They're putting out some pretty consistent content, and in this field, it's kind of hard to find. So if you are in this industry, make sure you guys follow them. Good stuff here. All right, so today we're going to be looking at actually one of their first videos they came out with. I really love the fact that they coming out with content. Their first one, it's kind of funny because you can tell they kind of improvised it and just kind of went with it. So it's like real natural, which I love. A quick note, if you have something down to write with, I highly recommend it. If you're gonna be getting better, actually get better, and nothing helps you more than taking good notes. Highly recommend it.
We just had like 4 good pitches in a row.
4 solid pitches and nothing.
Absolutely not.
We have zero chance
We'll see.
of getting a sale today. That's what we're trying to say.
All right, so if you've been in the field, you know sometimes, especially when you're knocking with someone, this is actually kind of a good idea. You want to keep nice and loose. So this is pretty normal stuff that you joke around like that. I don't know if I would highly recommend to obviously say that. Obviously, they're joking. But yeah, what you say can actually really highly affect you. And I'll show you actually how it's going to do so pretty soon.
It's the mustache. You're going to film me?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I love it. You can tell they just grabbed a camera and then just went for it. It's so much harder to knock with a camera, by the way.
With XL Energy. Here, shut off the power.
Okay. So right off the bat, this is normal, especially I'm sure these guys are experienced. And here's the thing, right? Adding that camera definitely gives additional layer of nerves because it's just something else to distract the customer. So the fact that they're willing to knock with a camera, I'm being serious. There's major props here. It's a lot harder. With that said, though, him being able to put his hands in a pocket, dude, that is such a big no-no. Basically, here's a quick note. I would highly recommend writing it down. When you're talking to your client, okay, it's all about trust. You're really building trust out there. So palms facing outward or hands that they can't see is basically a sign of I'm hiding something. That's how they're going to perceive it. So usually when you talk, not only do you want your hands exposed, but you want to do what's called palms facing up effect. So you want to talk like this. Always have your palms facing. If you ever notice public speakers or like basically that speak for a living, you're always going to notice when they're doing speeches, they usually talk like this, and it's the palm facing up effect. The reason is our body has over time evolved and basically developed a way for us to see if we're in a safe environment or not. When the hands goes like this, it's usually taking. When the hands are like this, it's usually giving. So it's a lot more trust is being built when you talk like this.
Let's see how this goes.
I'm here to shut you.
Hands in pockets, probably not going to go well.
Should I acknowledge the camera? Should we just see how it goes?
Yeah, just see what it goes.
Dude, they just went for it. I love it.
Hi there.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Hey, not bad. I'm Derek. We've just been
Got his hand out.
installing your
Put
neighbor
it back
right
in.
there, your next door neighbor today.
Good
Ion
extension.
Solar. We're just doing some training. You don't have to authorize to use this or not, but essentially we're just acting as marketing today for that install. After talking to a few of your neighbors, I don't know if we've already talked to you.
No, we're good. We're not gonna do that. Thank you though.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Take care, man.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna go well.
So that interaction was kind of a little bit awkward. He went to grab the package, and being that was
Nothing
my
to do with
first
it.
interaction on film, I didn't really want to push too hard. I might as well just kind of cut my losses, keep my state up so that I can bring that state to the next one.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. So here's the thing, and he's so right. A lot of times, right, when you're out in the field, you shouldn't have this mindset, but it is very normal. Your first door, I would say first 1 to 3. If you're newer, it's a lot more than that. But when you've been doing this for a little bit, your first few doors, it's kind of like your re-warm up. It's really weird. You've been doing this for a while, and obviously once you're into full motion, you're good. But for the most part, it usually takes you a few doors to warm up. So it's pretty normal that that's going to happen. Here's the thing though, right? It was an awkward interaction, but your body language has a tendency of making it awkward or making it go well. So always notice the little things, like for example, hands in pocket, it's definitely a no-no. Also, if you want to know, one of the ways to show confidence is your hands away from your body. That's a big thing. If you think of someone who's super confident, their hands are usually very visible. So when he went out like that was great. But when he brought his hands basically like he clammed back up, it's going to make people a little uncomfortable. It's going to make them uneasy.
Utter defeat.
Damn, bro, I filmed you. I wanted to do that.
Huh?
It seems like the easier
But
job.
What?
You seem like you're
I'm enjoying it. Dog.
It makes sense,
I'm-
man. They're
I'm having
filming.
a time.
It's hard to knock while you're
If you
filming.
get down on your knees, I think that'd be more professional.
Okay. So right off the bat, right, you notice how he's actually, it's posturing, but what it is hands, he's taking more space. That's what it's called. It's going to show more confidence. So the first door was obviously, he was just nervous, dude. Everyone's going to get like that. Him opening a little bit wider, this is going to be a lot better.
This is weird.
Yeah, get off your knees, bro. It looks like we're gonna maybe you should stand over there so they can't see you. This is making me nervous, dude.
Yeah,
Should.
it does.
Should.
Hey, how's it going, sir?
Fine, what can I help you with?
Hey, we're
Ooh. Okay. So this is like advanced training right here. It might help you if you're new. Just kind of write this down. So when you're at the door, there's something called leveling. Okay. And what that means is basically you want your energy or tone to be right around theirs. Right off the bat, there is a huge gap right here. If you notice, even when he said, "Hey, how's it going, sir?" Like he kind of dipped down, like he was kind of dreading it. And it could be the way the customer's looking at him that made him say it that way. But if you notice, the customer was basically here. The customer, the way he was speaking, it was like here. Even though it sounds positive, it's very high level, very high intensity, the way he said it. So it's probably not going to go well.
We're just stopping by. We're not selling anything today. I'm Derek. This is Shay. We're with Ion.
I don't know what that is.
It's a
Yeah,
solar
not gonna go well.
installation company.
Okay, I have a no solicit
Yep.
sign. I understand you're not selling me anything today, but given the fact that you've ignored this sign and rung my doorbell, do you think I'll ever do business with Ion?
Maybe not.
Okay, so there is an Arvada city ordinance that requires that unless I have an existing
Okay. So advanced training right here. One of the rules we usually teach when we go out in the field, you usually don't want to be the first one to speak. The reason is you show your cards. Okay. So big part of leveling is just that. It's imagine a bird, right? Or a parrot just mimicking what they're doing. You basically want to be at their intensity, if not a little bit higher. So when you speak first, you're basically showing, hey, I'm at this level, and your client can be at whatever level. It can be deceiving too, trust me. The fact that he spoke first it put him in a position where he had to stay there and the customer could get really aggressive with him.
relationship with a business,
Yeah, it's not going to
they're
go
not
well.
allowed to come to the door if there's a no soliciting sign.
Okay.
So if you're my pest control company, or
Sure.
you're delivering a package, or you're my yard maintenance people,
Sure.
you're welcome to come to the door. I've never done business with Ion.
Okay.
You're violating this order. What do you want to do? Move on?
Yes,
Or
sir.
have me report this to the city of Arvada?
We'll go ahead and
Yes,
move
sir.
on.
We'll get out of here.
Apologize.
Have a good day.
Videoing.
Training purposes.
Put me in your training video.
Yes, sir. Have a great day.
This is going great.
He authorized to be in the video.
He did.
It would have been more.
All right, so let's pause. Let's give these guys credit where credit is due. Okay, they are doing an amazing job, and I would say everything I'm telling you guys is important right here. But there's one thing that they are doing, and that's why I could tell you they're going to succeed. It's keeping your mentality high. When you're in the field, the number one thing is basically it's always a battle of beliefs, but also it's your energy. It's how you're feeling. These guys are doing an amazing job. That was obviously not the best door. And here's where really, let's just give them credit. The fact that they were willing to put that in this video, dude, they could have edited that out so easily, and they didn't. There is so much props here. These guys are legends, because you'd rather be transparent and know where you're at and make improvements than lie to yourself and be like, oh, I'm crushing it, and you're not. So right off the bat, seriously,
If I
major
was
props.
just kneeling.
But they're doing a good job of keeping their energy high, laughing about it. Awesome
Just
job.
chatting with your neighbor who's super friendly. I think he's gonna sign up. Be more funny. Okay.
Be more funny. Yeah,
Watch.
You're right, dude.
you're boring a lot.
Engage.
Hands in pocket again. Not good there.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Sorry
Hi
for
there.
setting off your dog.
This is huge. All right, so let's pause right here. So I didn't want to say anything earlier, but if you notice consistently, dude, for the longest time, every time I've trained new reps, they always have this habit of standing really close to the doorway, okay? I want to point this out. When you're too close to the door, you make it uncomfortable for your customer to come outside. I want you to pay attention next time when you're out in the field, the times that you get appointments and the times that you don't get appointments. I promise you, the times that you're getting appointments, your customer, more likely than not, is stepping outside of the door, okay? So every time they step out of the door, That is huge. So I would tell you, if you don't have a plan when you go out there, one of your first steps is to get your customer outside. And I'm about to give you guys some crazy good ideas to do that. One of the ways we usually do it is if we ask, hey, do you usually use this parking space right here? And I'll walk away and let them know, oh yeah, we're doing some work in the area, so we just really want to make sure this area is available. Do you know if you or any of your neighbors park in this area? To get them outside the door, then you pitch. Because if they're in the door, the number one weapon they can use out you on the field is the door, because they're going to close it on you. So if you can get them out, you're going to buy yourself so much more time to basically talk and have a conversation.
I'm Derek with Ion. This is Shay. We're just filming for training purposes today.
A lot more comfortable. Look, he's wide now.
But essentially, we're just out here as market.
This happens all the time. Someone's like driving in as you're pitching. Amazing job of just keep going. Seriously, really good job.
We just finished a solar install.
Wide.
So we're following up.
Wide body language.
To people about Excel's net metering program. I don't know if you've heard anything about that or read anything on that.
No.
Okay. Essentially, it's just an energy savings program that Excel, United, IREA, all the utility companies are taking part in to financially incentivize homeowners like yourself in higher caliber neighborhoods like this to become producers of power through putting solar panels on the roof.
Sure.
It's different than the program used to be, because in the past it was either like a leasing program.
Okay, so pause right here. This is huge. In your pitch, you should have questions lined up that basically bring up conversation, okay? So I can tell you right now, this guy is no longer listening to him. Not in a bad way, all right? A lot of times when you're out in the field, you just want to throw your pitch out. You don't make anything by how many pitches you say, okay? You're going to notice you have a direct correlation of how well you do to how many relationships you make and how many connections. Just saying your pitch over and over again isn't going to do much. So having built-in questions to have conversation is huge. Don't just ramble. That's what's kind of going on. This guy basically is like just nodding his head, but he's not really paying attention anymore.
Program where it made it kind of a nightmare to sell, or it was a large down payment where it took 5, 10, 20 years to see a return on that investment. Nowadays, there's no down payment. It's totally free. We actually cover the cost of install. And so how you end up paying for it is money that's already within the parameter of your budget. So
the way he's talking, I'll be honest, it's really good. He is so good at saying his points. He's not talking too fast. He's not talking too slow. And he has good voice fluctuation. That's a huge part of having a good pitch, is having highs and also lows, so that we can draw them back in. He's doing a really good job of that.
So to speak, money that you've already been paying to
his
Excel,
hands.
We just redirect that money. Look, so that you're paying yourself, you're keeping it into equity.
Even that little hand gesture, I'm probably gonna steal that. That was beautiful. It's little things, it's little nuances. And again, we just talked about, right? Palms facing up, looks exactly where his hands are right now. So here's the one thing I want to say, right? This is probably going to go a lot better. So it's nervous. Dude, you're filming. You're so much more, it's like, it's weird. It's uncomfortable when you film and knock. So he was probably really timid in the beginning. Now he's probably showing who he actually is right here. So amazing job. But one of the things I want to point out, okay, you don't get better doors, right? Better interactions because you get better doors. You get better interactions because you do things better. So for example, his body language, he improved it, right? His hands aren't connecting, hands gesturing up, good fluctuation. And he said he was going to have more fun right before he got to this door. Look, this is going to go way better.
Qualify, essentially, if you were to close your eyes, you wouldn't even be able to tell that you had solar, because the same amount of money is coming out of your bank account.
It's just long.
So that's sort of the condensed
It's just
pitch.
long.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to sell you solar today. Obviously, there's no way I could ever get a doorstep
Without interaction.
decision
It's just
on
too
how,
long.
solar sales works.
Okay.
Essentially, we're just trying to gauge interest out here today.
So right there, what he did, the hat re-gesturing, and then he re-centered himself. He's basically like, oh, this is going well. All right, keep it going. That was pretty cool.
And for homeowners who want to look into this more, who want more information, what we do is we actually drop off customized reports for people. Basically shows you where the panels would go, shows you the numbers, if it's going to offset your bill. For some people, it makes a lot of sense, and that's why they do it. And for some people, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and unless they're really gung-ho about the whole, green earth type thing, then they usually don't do it.
Okay.
And so, essentially, it costs us pennies on the dollar to actually create these reports.
I don't think he's going to get it right. I don't think he's going to get it right here, only because there wasn't communication. You weren't talking. We're talking to, not talking with. There's a big difference between that. I'd highly recommend that writing that down. You always want to talk with your client, not at your client. When you talk at your client, it usually doesn't go as well as if you talk with them, because when they're involved in a conversation, they actually take away more what you say instead of kind of feeling like you're being lectured.
Automated via software, that sort of thing. We just look at your roof, the annual usage that you're already paying to Excel, and then all we ask in return is that you just give us 10 to 15 minutes.
And it's so funny because this pitch is honestly, man, it's really good. It's a good pitch. He's doing good things. Body language is great. It's just there wasn't enough questions involved to basically bring in the customer. So if I could change anything right here, it's like having 2 questions built into this pitch where basically you just have them get more involved, right? Like, oh, how long have you lived in the home? Really easy to ask that. What's the highest electricity bill you guys have seen, or have you guys looked into the programs before? Anything basically, you really don't want to go more than like 10, 15 seconds without getting some type of involvement, because most of the time they're going to zone you out. I'm sure that's probably happened to you guys out in the field where you get done with a pitch and you're like, oh, that went great. And they're like, nah, and they leave. It's because they zone us out.
You're actually expecting us. We can walk through the report with you, and that way you're actually, can intake what we're saying instead of us just ambushing you on the door. So fighting the uphill battle, right? Because you're probably doing something before we knocked on the door.
He's laughing.
So is that something you might be interested in? Can we put you down in the...
Okay. I'm never going to make it seem like this is okay. He asked permission instead of assuming it. This is a big no-no. So have a great transition built into the end. So you should know, okay? If you don't have a pitch, I'm just going to tell you right now. And if you have a pitch and you don't have it written down, you don't have a pitch, all right? You have something you try to stick with, but you don't have a pitch. You need to have your pitch written down where you know your points, your beginning, your middle, and then your end, and your talking points in between. That's usually how I recommend having it structured. Him asking, and I'm going to rewind it right here. This is a huge drop right here.
So is that something you might be interested in? Can we put you down on the list?
So is that something you might be interested in? All right. Yeah, it's like you're carrying food to a table, you're a waiter, and you literally just spill it as you're about to drop it off. Don't ever do that. Have a clean transition. This is like literally liquid gold right here, the line I'm about to tell you, okay? Use this transition. So why don't we do this? If you haven't, write that down. I promise you, add that to your pitch. It's such a clean transition. So why don't we do this? The reason it's so clean is because you're not telling them what to do. You are telling them what to do, but it doesn't sound that way. Also, it's not, hey, you do this. It's no, let's do this together. So you're going to notice once you have a clean transition built into your pitch, right? So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and schedule something down. Obviously, figure out your verbiage after that, whatever appointment looks like to you. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead and schedule a time, since we're going to be out here anyways, for us just to get you the info. So at least that way you know what's going on in your neighborhood. Sound fair?
Let's tell you, I don't even know how long I'm going to be here.
Boom. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I could be leaving 6 months from now.
This area seems to be pretty...
So real quick, he probably had that in the back of his mind. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Like a minute into while the guy was talking to him. It was just so long that he didn't even give him a chance to say that. So it wasn't a conversation. He basically saved it till the very end. So most of the things he said, he wasn't even paying attention to anymore.
transitory. Seems like a lot of people go in and out.
Good job though here.
Corporations drop
He listened to what he said and now he's coming a conversation with it. Great job.
us off here.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
I hate to invest in it and then not get my money out of the investment.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So it depends on how long you're thinking about moving. You think it might be within 6 months?
Could be 6 months to a year. Yeah, my
Right.
company moves around a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The one thing, if you were to move in 6 months, you would probably still come out on top, just because right now there's a 22% tax benefit. So essentially, if the system costs 20 grand, right? the government's going to give you a check for $4,400 right off the bat. And then it's actually your cash to do whatever with you want to. So you could actually just take that money and you can put it into the system. If you put it into the system, for every dollar you put into the system, you're getting about 90 cents to $1 back, because the average appraisal.
Oh, let's look at it.
I don't
gave up.
I don't know if
I
if
think
that
he-
logically hit, or if he was just like,
No,
I think it's gonna be easier just to get this report.
Just gave up right there.
I love it. These guys are honest, at least. I love them. These guys are legends. Yeah, I was gonna say that. It looks like the guy just kind of caved in. He's like, yeah, let's just say I'm gonna do something so that way we could move forward.
Yeah, I think he did too.
Just let me write something up and let's look at it and evaluate it.
Sure, yeah, and it's obviously it's no obligation too. You know, we're not looking for a yes or no when we come back with the report. We just want to put the.
Okay, real quick, one of the things that I wanted to see how long it was going to happen. This is called bunkering. All right, so I'll explain. So what I mean by that is, if you notice, the guy who's pitching right now hasn't moved in, it feels like years. The guy who he's pitching to came out a little further, which was great, but they haven't moved. So I'll tell you this much. If your pitch isn't going well, one of the best ways to reset the conversation is to move. When you don't move, your thought process stays the same. So here's some science behind it, okay? When you move or when you travel through a doorway, your brain reopens to regather information. So it literally resets. When you're stationary, when you're standing still too long, you're basically comfortable in your state of being. You've already looked around. Remember, we're basically chimps, right? You said this area is safe. I don't really need to pay attention to my environment. When you move, your body resets, and it has you go, okay, hey, what's new? What's going on? So give an excuse to move your customer if you're noticing it's not going too well, or if you just want them to pay more attention to you, give them a reason to move. Like, it's like, oh, by the way, who did your landscaping? Walk towards it, right? And they'll come out and follow you or whatever. Or, oh, by the way, whose car is this? Or, hey, who picked this color, for the house? And then show a specific one or whatever, but move them. This is bunkering. That's not good. It's like literally like a war, you versus them. Don't stay still too long, especially if it's not going the best.
Yeah. All we gotta do is just take down a few basic information, details, and then we'll get out of your hair for you.
He moved. This is
What do
great.
you do for work, by the way?
Retail management.
Retail management?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great question to ask when you're out there. Get to know your client. Obviously, like we talked about, have a conversation. Don't talk to your client.
Retail management.
Retail. Did he just say retail? No, he said retail management. This is a big deal right here. Okay. So if you're watching this video, I'm literally about to change your career if you haven't started using this. So one of the things you need to start using when you're out in the field is praise, all right? Praise and compliment your customers. Here's a basic principle for you to know. People like people that like them, not that are like them, that like them. Hey, I like you. Dude, that guy likes me. You know what? He's pretty cool. I like him too. That's the way we kind of work. If they like you, you like them, so on and so forth. Having said that, this is such a huge miss right here. We'll go back and watch it, but I'm just going to explain the principle first, okay? Praise your customers when you're with them. Give them compliments, all right? We'll kind of go in the rules of what's safe to compliment, what's not safe to compliment later, but always praise your clients. So, for example, one of the things is when you're little, basically all we are adult children. That's it. We just, same little kids, just grown up. When you're little, you're programmed to respond to praise. Understand that that's still wired in you. So, for example, kids learn how to walk, right? Babies, because we tell them, oh, come on, you did so good. Keep going. You're doing great. And then they learn how to walk. We're not that much different. So long story short, when he said, not only did he say retail, he said retail management. So if we go back and watch, I want you to pay attention to this. This is huge. So notice this, right? So let's go back a little bit.
And we'll get out of your hair for you.
Okay.
What do you do for work, by the way?
Retail.
Great question.
Retail management.
Retail management?
Yeah.
Notice that smile. Do you see it? So here's the thing. He's literally lined up for you to say, good boy, good job. And it sounds almost condescending, but I'm not meaning it that way. But understand that basically within us all, we want to hear it. Like even the people that it's so funny, right? The people are like, no, dude, I hate compliments. Like never. like we probably want it the most. We're like, compliments, no way. But we're like secretly writing in our diaries later, like, you know, my dad's finally proud of me, whatever. But for example, look at that smile. And I want you to notice something. They just kind of said like, yeah, good job. And notice how quickly it goes away.
Awesome.
Gone. Do you see that? It was huge. So training yourself to compliment and praise your client is going to change the game for you. Literally, when you're out in the field, I used to have reps play this stupid little game, and it was how much praise and how much compliment can you give when you're out there. Not even appointments, because if you do these little things, it leads to appointments.
Else, and then
So again,
we'll get out of your hair for you.
Okay.
What do you do for work, by the way?
great question.
Retail management.
Always ask it, right? What do you do for a living?
Retail management?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome. And they go back to it. No, this would have been a huge point. This could have been the difference of this being an okay appointment to literally one of the best appointments you've ever had, because people like people that like them. So a better way that you could have done this, right, is right there when he's like retail management. It's like, oh, no way. Okay. Do you know what? It's funny that you say management. You gave me that vibe. Like, you just kind of struck me. You felt like my boss. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Or whatever. It's like, oh, I was assuming you were a manager somewhere. And then you're going to notice how much they go like, ha, ha. Yeah, yeah, I am a big deal. I'm Captain Big Deal. Actually, it's funny that you noticed that. But just these little nuances, man, it literally makes a difference of connecting with your customer, not connecting with your customer. So, boom, gone. Missed opportunity. So let's just get back into it.
I'll give it an F4.
35 years.
Wow.
Notice, oh, this guy's lighting up like a Christmas tree.
Long time.
Got some experience then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart. I can't take this. There's so much missed opportunity here. He is begging for his belly to be rubbed, man. I'm not even kidding. And I promise you, you're missing this so many times when you're on the field.
35 years.
Wow.
So here, this is so important for you to understand. Let's spend quite a bit of time diving into this. Your work, most of the time when you live, defines so much of your personality. It defines so much of your identity is what you do. And if someone compliments what you do, they're not just complimenting what you do, they're complimenting you. This is huge. There could have been so many more questions. Oh, no way. What do you do in management, right? Giving that little compliment of, I was like, you struck me as a manager. It's funny that you say that. I was like, you felt like my boss for a second. I actually had to like calm down, like, ha, 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 right? Making those connections. Oh, that's so cool. No wonder you have this amazing house. Obviously, you've worked really hard for it. Yeah, I have. Doing all those little things separates you from everyone else. Remember, make a relationship and you're going to get an appointment.
Yeah.
Long time.
Got some experience then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, miss and drop. Oh, man.
Is that your competitor there, Sunrun?
It is.
They are, yeah.
They're number 2. We're number 1, actually, is the funny thing.
Like I was saying, to build a report, we look at your annual usage. So we got to get that from Excel. Fortunately, they don't put it on the bill. Every other electric utility actually just puts the graph on the bill that we can take a photo of.
Yeah.
But Excel actually makes us call. I have the magic code. It literally takes 30 seconds. All you got to do is just say your name.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even look at him. I just looked down at my phone and started dialing.
I'm still bothered. I'm still bothered by that last thing, man. But yeah, moving on. This is actually what he's talking about is right. So here, let's just hear it out.
Thing with the talking with car sales. Just like basically just start doing it.
These guys are really good. They're really, really good. It's little things, right? Like we could all still get better, and that's a really important mentality you have when you're out in the field. Obviously, if you guys are looking up this type of content, you guys are legends because you're trying to get better even right now. So props to you guys. Let's take a quick dive into this moment though, just to talk about it. So when you're out there, always when you ask questions, just like them, I don't recommend looking up. Always assume it, right? And be like, okay, and it was Michael, right? Great. And Michael, what was your last name? And assume it. Stay quiet, look down, get ready to write. Okay, perfect. And just in case we're running a little behind, what's a good phone number? Perfect. Awesome. Good email. I was like, and Michael, actually, right, whatever you need, just always assume it. I was like, and actually, we still need your electric bill. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and grab that info. Let me call him right quick. Or can you pull up your phone so you can pull it up from that? Or can you run in and grab a bill? I'll wait out here. Always just assume whatever you're about to ask. That's very important.
Great.
So they did a great job.
So cool. That's all we need. We'll stop by tomorrow at 4.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we'll drop that off to you, let you mull it over.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Well,
Appreciate it.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good to meet you. Take care.
So here's the thing, right? Would I say that's an appointment? Yeah, it's an appointment. That's what I would say is like an actual real appointment. So awesome job to these guys. Could it have been a better appointment? Without a doubt. Like without a doubt, it could have been a way better appointment. So for example, a lot of times I see other guys when they go to their appointments and it's like it looks uncomfortable, like you're literally trying to close them. When you build rapport properly, you're literally just hanging out with them and showing them great options, and then it basically takes care of itself. So number one thing I would tell you that's really impressive about them is, man, they kept their mentality high the whole time. And if you're out with somebody, if you're new, I'm not going to recommend you go out with someone, but it does help. That's all I'm going to say. But if you do go out with someone, that's exactly what you want to do. Joke around the whole time. If you get a difficult door, just keep going. Have fun out there. And guys, thank you for tuning in for Sales Society. We're going to keep bringing you video breakdowns and come up with our own content because we know it's difficult out there. And one of the things about sales is I would tell you guys, always look for progress and then the money will come. Just get better every day and trust me, the money will come. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys and have a good day.